Look at the merits of a John Mahama presidential aspiration on the NDC ticket. Now, the point about the NDC's campaign in 2020 is that it will have a monolithic theme. What the NDC will be telling the Ghanaian people is a comparative analysis. They'll be inviting Ghanaians to do a comparative analysis between what Akufo-Addo has done from 2016 to 2020 and what John Mahama had done in his first term. Perhaps they can go over to Mills, NPP will go over to Kufuor, but those will be the fringe sort of narrative. The main central theme of 2020's campaign is John Mahama's 4 years versus Akufo-Addo's 4 years. So if the NDC candidate is, say, Spio Gabra, he would have to be talking about John Mahama's record of the first 4 years. Most likely they'll hinge on infrastructure, etc., etc. But Spio Gabra will have to be mentioning John Mahama's name consistently in his campaign against the NPP. If it's Joshua Alabi, he'll have to do the same thing. He will be confined to mention John Mahama's name against the NPP. So the big merit for John Mahama is that why not he himself? Because he's available. So, and he's qualified to run. So instead of Spio Gabra running on John Mahama's record, why can't John Mahama come and put up his own record and say, this is what I did? That would be a stronger message in communication terms than for somebody to say it for him. So that's what's going for John Mahama in terms of whether or not he should run. It's a big meritorious argument for him that the campaign is going to run on a comparative analysis basis, on a comparative, you know, you did this, I did this, and it's going to be John Mahama's time, Akufo-Addo's time. If John Mahama is available, he must be certainly the one talking about it. So that's a big merit for John Mahama, and they might say that he's been president before, so he sort of understands the mistakes he made, and he'll be able to do it better this time. He has more experience, etc., etc. That's the merit going for him. But what are the demerits of John Mahama's campaign? What are the things that will go against him if he should decide to run? Let's look at the demerits now. Montage, come. So in terms of the demerits that go against John Mahama, the cons that go against John Mahama, people are going to say that he has been deputy minister, he's been minister, he's been vice president, he's been president. What else does John Mahama want to do? The NPP are going to rack up that campaign against him, and they're going to say all of those issues against him. It looks like gradually he's getting the NDC together, but he's going to have to deal with that question. People who work for John Mahama and his communication, his campaign team would have to deal with that question. What else does John Mahama want to achieve? Deputy minister, minister, vice president, president. Is there anything more he can do for the people of Ghana? That's a question that you have to answer. The other bit is President Mahama's relationship with the godfathers, particularly Flight Lieutenant Rawlings. And we bring back the Ezra question. We're asking tonight, that is Rawlings the new Ezra in President Mahama's life? He had one Ezra when he was 3 years old in Achimota School, when he was 8 years old in class 3 in Achimota School. Does he feel that he has another Ezra, a bully type guy who comes to join the class, comes to join the club and wants to take over brutally without negotiation and wants to direct people as to what they should do? Is that how President Mahama sees President Rawlings as the new Ezra in his life? We're asking that question tonight in this editorial. Because his relationship with Flight Lieutenant Rawlings has not been very good. Well, it was okay in 2012, but it was not okay in 2016. And we were wondering, everyone was wondering why Rawlings was not on the campaign, and Johnson Asiedu Nketia offered an explanation. He said JJ is too old, and so JJ cannot be part of the campaign. Now, when the NDC's launch of campaign occurred in Cape Coast, however, JJ was present. And it was then that people got to understand that JJ is really not part of this campaign. This is what Mr. Rawlings said, just to remind you, in Cape Coast at the launch of the NDC campaign of 2016. Okay, say it. Come back to this camera. Okay, so JJ then did not participate in the rest of the campaign, and it was expected that he would be at the final rally at the Accra Sports Stadium, where John Mahama addressed the NDC faithfuls, a really, really mammoth crowd at that rally. Easily over 200,000 people were in the stadium, out of the stadium, in the environs of the stadium that day. It was a really big crowd. It was expected that Flight Lieutenant Rawlings would be there. He didn't show up at the final rally. So everyone was wondering, what is Mr. Rawlings doing? Is it true that perhaps he's tired and perhaps he's not well or something like that? everyone, that question about what Rawlings was doing was answered on the day that Salot Osei declared the election results. And we all found out that apparently Flight Lieutenant Rawlings had been working for the NPP during the period of the campaign. Here is the evidence. Okay? Yeah. All right. So to those names that... So to those names that Nana Akufo-Addo mentioned in thanking them, Captain Chikata and Flight Lieutenant Rawlings, do remember to add the name of this man. The man you see on the screen is General Arnold Koinu, a military general of high rank who is one of those affiliated to the NDC and very loyal to the NDC, and also one of the overlords of the Volta region. It is widely reported that he, with JJ and others, were in the Volta region campaigning against John Mahama. So that the difference between Flight Lieutenant Rawlings and Ezra is that whereas Ezra came to join the Achimota School class, Mr. Rawlings actually set up this thing called the NDC. So that's the difference. Ezra came to join, Mr. Rawlings set it up. And if John Mahama is not able to fix the relationship with Rawlings, would it once again affect him if he runs a national election? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. We can look at it. But it certainly did affect the outcome of 2016. Could it affect the outcome of 2020 as well? I don't know. Now, Mr. Rawlings set up the party in 1992. That's a very long time ago, 25, 26 years ago. And then Mr. Rawlings held the soul and the image of the party. Does he still hold the soul of the image of the party now? I don't know. Let's go back all the way to 1992 and see the way in which the NDC outdoored Flight Lieutenant Rawlings as their flag bearer. And you will hear later on what Dr. Obed Asamoah and what Guzi Tando said about J.J. Rawlings. Now, if you look at this video and you don't see yourself in it, and you don't see your godfather in it, you don't see your father in it, your uncle in it, then you are a new member of the NDC. This is the NDC of old, NDC 1992, J.J.'s NDC. That's how it started. Okay, I'm wrapping up now. Let me come to this. So after you've seen all of that, we can continue the discussion, we can continue analyzing, but the question we are putting to you is that, and send your comments on our Facebook page, the question we are putting to you tonight is that, should John Mahama run for president again? Thanks for watching. After the break, we get back into the studio. Thanks for watching. After the break, we get back into the studio, and we're going to be talking to our panel on Nation Builders Corps. We're done.